Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Well, let's take a look at some stocks on the move today in Europe. I'm Stephen Carroll and I'm joined by Bloomberg's Chloe Mele for more. Chloe, let's start with energy in focus this morning, of course, again. What's happening with the oil producer Repsol?
Yeah, well, we've seen quite a lot of weakness across the board for some of those energy names this morning, Repsol being one of them. And so a lot of that has to do with Trump saying that if necessary, the US will work to ensure and escort oil tankers moving through the Persian Gulf, which he said would avoid an energy crisis. And so that has caused some pullback in oil prices and therefore a pullback in oil companies' share prices. So that's a bit of a reversal from what we'd seen over the last couple of days with oil prices and oil companies' share prices moving much higher. But the industry, the shipping industry, is saying that the plan from Trump is only really a partial fix and that it lacks a lot of clarity on how it would actually be implemented. It's a much more complex plan with a much larger scale than similar plans that have come before. And, you know, given the number of producers and consumers involved, the complexity is really quite staggering. And some ship owners have also said that they're wary of relying a little bit too much on a volatile US administration. So the execution of it, the cost of it, there's a lot of question marks that remain, but in the meantime, we have seen that impacting some of those share prices across the energy sector this morning.
Okay, so that's the energy sector. Turning to defence then, what's happening with Rheinmetall shares?
Yeah, Rheinmetall, Leonardo, Saab, all of those names moving higher today. This is the same story really as it has been over the last couple of days, which is that the tensions in the Middle East will likely mean higher defence spending, and that will then benefit the likes of Rheinmetall and all of those peers within that defence sector. This is really even more relevant now that Europe has been pulled into the conflict with the threats on Cyprus. So the British airbase on Cyprus being struck by a drone strike on Sunday, which has marked the first and so far the only attack on European territory. But that means that now Greece, which is one of the closest allies to Cyprus, and then the UK and France are involved in boosting those defence capabilities for Cyprus. And then, of course, let's not forget that the war in Ukraine is still very much happening. It shows no sign of ending. And so all of that points to higher defence spending, higher for longer as well, which then now translates into all of those defence names in the green this morning.
Okay, and then turning to a move outside of geopolitics, Vistry, tell us more about what's happening with them.
Yeah, very, very bad day for Vistry. Shares really plunged this morning. There's two things that are happening. The first is that the CEO is retiring after almost 10 years leading the company. And then secondly, the company also warned of quite slow growth this year and saying that the market conditions would remain really challenging, and that might be worsened by what is happening geopolitically as well. It's expecting profit delivery to be very similar to that of last year. And last year, revenue and profit declined. So obviously investors are a little bit disappointed by this. It doesn't bode well for the rest of the house building sector either. It's been, of course, dealing with a very difficult few years. It's been a period marked by high interest rates, of course, the end of government stimulus to help buyers, and then, of course, a couple of budgets as well under Labour that have created some uncertainty and therefore quite a muted market. Vistry did say it was quite optimistic about the spring selling season, so we'll just have to see if that's enough to boost it again.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.